Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2024 Jaguar F-Pace. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Land Rover Jaguar here in Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this F-Pace. This particular F-Pace is still available for sale for the time being, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out this F-Pace and the rest of their inventory. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering this is a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 22 around town and then 27 on the highway, with power outputs it being 246 horsepower and then 269 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, it's kind of hard to see because of the white paint, but you do have a bunch of cool body lines. And then popping down below, you guys can see the daytime running lights with the LED headlamps. And then notice how it's all blacked out here off to the side. You do have the parking sensors integrated into the front end. And then look at the grille, how that's all blacked out. Got your R-Dynamic badge as well. And putting it all together, I think that the Jaguar F-Pace is a really good looking crossover. So coming around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 255, 50, 20 in the front and over in the rear. And you can see with the wheels how they are all blacked out, which goes with the overall theme of this particular F-Pace. Now we've got a really cool cut there for the fender, and then notice the little Jaguar badge there on the side. Notice the mirror caps are also blacked, and then you have some trim here at the bottom that's also blacked out. And putting it all together, the contrast between the black and white elements I think look really good with the F-Pace. So here's the key fob for the F-Pace. You've got your unlock function, your lock function, that's to pop on the lights, that's for the hatch, and then of course the Jaguar logo there in the back, and pop the hatch right open. Now taking a look in the cargo area, you guys can see we've got a cargo cover from the factory, and we've got these little latches right here to throw down these seats so you can get even more storage in the rear if you need. And this is interesting, we've got this like shell, but that's because you probably can't see in the camera very well because lighting, but there's a spare tire underneath. But it's just interesting how it like pops up here in the rear. But anyways, when you're all done, just press this and that will lower the hatch right back down. Now I love the new style of taillights here on the F-Pace. I think those look really sharp. Then of course the badges here on the back also blacked out. And then we do have parking sensors here at the rear. And putting it all together, let me know what you guys think about the styling here on the F-Pace. Now taking a look at the door panel here, you guys can see really nice trim at the top of the stitching, and look at the wood trim down below. And then we do have some two-tone action with this, which I think looks great. And then we got the Meridian sound system as well. And now that you guys can see the seats, the two-tone probably makes a little bit more sense. Look, that's perforated all down the center, and even this portion right here is actually padded, which I think just adds to the luxury feel. So I just have my feet like this so I don't dirty the carpet, but you guys can see the legroom back here is really good. We've got a little storage pocket, and yes, we've got these aggressive bucket seats, which actually have stitching on the back. That's fancy looking. Anyways, got some vents there in the center, a bunch of charging ports down below, and we also have a cup holder armrest set up. And then last but not least, yeah, headroom's good. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see again with the trim at the top and the wood trim down below, and then more of the leather trim. We've got all of our window controls, and look at the finish on those. They look really high quality. And we have all of our mirror adjustments. The mirrors also do power fold in as well. And then we've got blind spot monitoring mirrors too. Now taking a look at the front seats, you guys can see bucket with the design, and notice how they're perforated all down the center portion. We do have our power adjustments here on the side. And then you guys can see this is for the hatch to pop it open. And then look at the trim in the dash. That's also really nice. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you can see really nice leather trim all around. We do have paddle shifters there on the back for the 8-speed automatic. And then we do have some controls for the cruise control. It is adaptive, by the way. You've got your heated steering wheel button here on the steering wheel as well. You've got other practical controls like your voice command phone controls on top of that. And the overall steering wheel design I think looks really cool. And then you have your stalks here on the back for the turn signal and the windshield wiper. So we've got this digital gauge cluster here in the center, really clean design. We can scroll through some different menus to see different bits of info on systems within the vehicle. You can also kind of change how the gauge cluster looks. This is the 2-gauge layout that it currently has. Now this has a 360 camera system, and first off, resolution's really good with the camera system, and on top of that, you guys can see from reverse to drive, it does flip from the back camera to the front camera, which I think is great. Now, as for the rest of the screen itself, response time with the screen is really solid and frankly just easy to use. I like how this has low traction launch, just like the Land Rovers. Obviously, they're built by the same manufacturer, but it's just cool to see that. And then you guys can see with the seats, they are heated and cooled. They've got the cooled function on. There's another way to control that. I'll show that in just a moment. But yeah, overall, I'd say really good infotainment system. Now down below we've got some shortcut buttons you guys can see here for mostly climate stuff, and then we do have that for the seats. And then we have our multi-function controls, which are really cool. So right now this is on temperature. If I push it in, then that'll adjust seats, and then if I pull it, that'll adjust fan speed, and then you push it in again and that goes back to temperature. So cool that they've been able to integrate all of that. And then you've got your wireless phone charging pad below that. Of course, got our engine stop start button, and then analog volume control, which is very important, right? Not everything's in the touchscreen, which I like. And then we do have our shifter here for the 8-speed automatic, and it's kind of hard to see with the lighting. We've got really nice stitching there on the top of it. And then we have our drive mode select right next to that, and then we have actually like an off-road cruise control. Hopefully you can kind of see that right there, illuminated, and then stability control on that panel as well. But anyways, ooh, the dial pops up and the drive modes pop up here in the center. So you can see we've got pretty basic modes. Basically, you got sport mode, you got eco, and then you've got like an off-road mode. Now I've got some cup holder action right here, and then a little charging port, and then look at the trim right there. And then there's some storage underneath the center console. Hopefully you can kind of see that. And then we've got the actual center console itself. And again, really nice leather trim on the top. And that continues onto the dash. They've done a really good job with making this very luxurious. And then, yeah, pretty big glove box. And then up top, we've got these controls here for the full panoramic sunroof. So here's our window sticker for this F-Pace. You can see almost everything is standard, but we do have some options on this one. So base MSRP is $57,000. Now, these really cool seats that this has are a $3,000 package, but it doesn't just give you the cool seats. You can see that adds heated and cooled memory function, also a bunch of power adjustments. So I think that's actually a really good value overall with the package. But anyways, after all options, this one stickers for $69,945. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, and hopefully you see the heads-up display now. Both the mirrors, which do have blind spot monitoring, and throughout the rest of the rear. And let us set off in this F-Pace. So this is my first 24 model year F-Pace review. I do plan on reviewing the other packages and powertrains for those of you that are wondering. So, you know, the 6-cylinder version, and then also the V8 version as those come in. But so far it looks like we just have the 4-cylinder version here right now. But anyways, getting up and moving, good torque out of the engine right off the bat. And you know, you have to remember the F-Pace is not like a, it's a spacious vehicle. Like, I feel very comfortable in here, but it's not like a huge SUV. So, you know, this turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder, it feels more than powerful enough for the size of vehicle that this is. Ride quality is really good. I know the F-Pace is, you know, in the Jaguar brand, right, is more about like sportiness, but even though that's kind of what the brand's about, this still is a very comfortable luxury vehicle at the end of the day. Now, I will say these performance seats, like the leather is very soft, but the padding on these seats isn't as thick as what you have on the non-performance seats. So just understand that these are definitely firmer. I wouldn't call them uncomfortable, but they are firmer, and then they're tighter as well, right around you with the bolsters. Man, we are getting lucky today with traffic. I'm grateful for that. Yeah, really good torque. So I think that that's great. Now we're gonna pop it into the dynamic. So we are now confirmed to be in dynamic mode. Get on it a little bit here. That's pretty peppy. I mean, it gets up and moves at a decent pace. Again, for the, you know, quote unquote baseline powertrain, it performs really well, actually. And, you know, I imagine most people getting this version of the F-Pace, it's less about the sporty driving, more about like the cool looks. And then also, you know, you get the 4-cylinder if you want to get, you know, better fuel economy. And so, yeah, I guess that'll kind of sum things up here for this review. So I think the F-Pace is a beautiful SUV. I like the slight design changes they've made to the F-Pace over the years. I think it has this really like just cool, sleek design. And then this interior is amazing. I mean, like, just the fit and finish is really good, and then the material use is really nice as well. It is interesting with the different textures, because like this has like the cowhide texture, and then down below it's like a softer texture, so it's mixed. In the seats right there, they're really like soft leather, so it's just interesting, the different textures. But it also kind of, I guess, adds to the interior experience, if that makes sense. So yeah, overall I think the F-Pace is really cool, and I want to get one more acceleration, so I wish this light would change. So there we go. Now we can, woo, yeah, this thing moves. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the new F-Pace.